Let's get it on.
Gross.
Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 237.
Yay!
Oh boy.
I'm Chris, and as usual, I am joined by...
Ames.
Caitlin.
And Jake.
And today we are continuing our lengthy trek through the Delta Quadrant as we discuss Voyager's Eye of the Needle and Post Facto. First up in Eye of the Needle, Harry Kim has detected some stuff. And they're going to go take a look at it because it might be a wormhole. And it is! But it's a teeny tiny wormhole. Oh, it's so wee.
Aww.
So they shoot
wormhole.
a micro probe into it. But it gets jammed up towards the end of the sphincter. You know, you have that sometimes. You're just like, oh, get out, you last little pebble.
Hate when
like a
micro
colonoscopy
probe
gone wrong.
gets stuck in there.
And it's just sitting there. But then Kim is like, hey, you know, I can probably use this as like a booster, and we can try to get a signal out at least. And they're all like, all right, let's do that. And they get a signal out, and somebody responds from the Alpha Quadrant. And there's some back and forth, and eventually it's worked out. Oh, shit. This is a Romulan alleged cargo ship, but eventually they realize, yeah, no, it's a scientific expedition, and
they're scheming like Romulans.
Yeah, they don't trust anyone. I get it. I've met people. People suck. But this dude's pretty chill and comes around and is like, man, your plight really has me sad. It makes me think about how I'm away from my wife and daughter on this multi-year science expedition. I didn't even get to be there for my kid to be born.
Good. That's a great way to get out of that.
Yeah. And
come home when the kid is good.
Yeah,
10
really.
years from now.
Yeah, oh, sorry. It looks like I'm not going to be able to come home until the kid's at least, it says here 17 years old? Is that a good time? Okay, honey. See you then.
So they are gonna, there's some talk about maybe beaming everyone over to the Romulan ship, and that would be weird and crowded. But they eventually settle on, well, we'll at least have him send home some letters, and he can let Starfleet know we're okay, we're just lost. Not even lost, really, just very far away from home. And they do some tests, and, they beam the Romulan over. He says, hi, how you doing? They're like, groovy. And they realize there's been these weird fluctuations, and they're like, oh, fudge sickles. This isn't just a wormhole through... Hole? Wormhole!
It's not just a wormhole through space!
It's a wormhole through time.
It sounds really wibbly-wobbly.
It's a wormhole through time!
So, yeah, Admiral
For our
Romulan
Belgian listeners.
there.
That's not how Belgian people talk.
No. Admiral Romulan there is like, oh, well, that blows.
Captain Romulan, Chris.
No, I know. We're going to see him later as an admiral.
That's right, we will. We've seen him before as well.
We have, yes. But
wait, the same character? No, it's not the
same
same
actor.
Okay, I was going to say, actually, it's not. Definitely not, because we find out about his fate.
Yes. So, Big Johnny Romy is like...
Johnny Romy!
I guess, in 20 years, I could, go to the Federation and be like, don't send that ship. And Janeway's all, grandfather paradox. He's like, well, I'll at least send your letters, like Doc Brown, 20 years later. And they're like, great. And he beams back, and Tuvok's like, yeah, so bad news.
Bad news, everybody.
For some reason, our computer files are so fucking thorough. We have, files on every random Romulan. That or they have access to Romulan Wikipedia. I don't know. Anywho, turns out this
Definitely
guy
the latter.
goes kaput 10 years before they can before the Voyager mission begins.
No, he was so nice.
He was. And they were like,
a shame.
maybe he left instructions or a will or something, but they're left to not be sure. They know their messages made it to him, but they're not sure if they made it to their families. And we end on sort of that somber note.
Can we be real? He's like, I'm going to send this shit in 20 years. Have you ever told yourself, oh man, in 6 months I have to remember X. I'm going to do such and such to help me remember. And it never happens. There's no way that guy was going to send that shit.
And,
I mean, I feel like that's a slightly bigger deal. You're going to have that canister on your desk all the time and look at it and be like, so fucking weird.
Yeah, but...
Oh, and also, sorry, briefly, There's also a B plot where, like, Cass is like, can people start being nicer to the Doctor? And yeah.
People are like, nah.
Even Janeway's a little reticent because apparently she never saw Measure of a Man.
Nah.
And that's the episode.
I get the
Wow.
impression she's seen The Measure of a Man a few times.
Penis.
Oh, God, it's actually really
It's a good
sad.
episode. She should see it.
They recently put out a really highly detailed figure of Robert Picardo as the Doctor,
Yeah.
but they kind of fucked up the face. Like, he looks good at profile, but from head on, it's not right.
But how did they do, down there?
The booty looked
Penis.
great.
No, I mean the penis.
Oh, his pee-pee? I don't know.
Hopefully. You have to buy that figure, Chris, and let us know.
Well,
Yeah,
he is anatomically correct and fully functional.
They have
Well,
not
you
established
said
that
it was
with it.
highly detailed, so
Mm.
I can only assume.
Chris's own words.
I mean, based on what we know of Zimmerman that we saw in DS9, I am sure whatever the EMH's hog is like, it's way better than Zimmerman's actual
So
one.
is Zimmerman wilier or less wily than Sung?
I mean, considering the later model isn't based on himself, he's maybe a little less crazy.
The model that's based on Bashir?
No.
Or, there's
no.
another model we meet in the future.
Andy's
Bashir
dick,
got
isn't it?
fired. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Spoilers.
Andy's dick.
Bashir got fired, yes, we do eventually meet the EMH Mark II. Anyway,
Imagine thinking Andy Dick is a step up from literally anything.
Have you seen the episode that we're
No,
going to talk
no.
about in like 5 years?
No, I haven't seen the episode. I just think Andy Dick sucks.
I'll take Andy Dick over Joe Rogan.
Why are we
What's Joe
talking
Rogan
about any
again?
of this?
That's a good question. He's also from News Radio. Anyway,
Yeah, but Phil Hartman, am I right?
Dude, poor Phil Hartman. Too soon.
moment of silence for the original Zap Brannigan.
Hmm.
Anyway,
There's no way we're going to get back to talking about this episode.
now I'm trying. So this
We're just
episode,
start talking about this episode.
it's,
This is like the
it's,
best episode
Stephen
we've
Root
had.
was in News Radio too. He was Jimmy James.
Wasn't
True.
Dave Foley in that?
Yes. Anyway, this episode,
It's a good one.
it's good. Not a ton happens in a sense. Like, there's the slow reveal of, like, okay, so who's on the other end? Oh, it's this guy. Oh, but he's actually this. And then we're sort of establishing, like, again, it's in no way bad. It builds well on itself over time.
I don't know. I like a nice quiet episode that lets you
Oh, yeah.
kind of like think about shit. I like
yeah, nothing wrong with
watching Janeway's her way of handling these issues is quite interesting because she's an optimistic little thing.
Yeah.
Like every time something comes up, she says, "Well, let's assume this will work, and then we'll work from there. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out in a different way. But for now, we're going to keep moving forward, assuming this is the Harry Kim official wormhole party in the wormhole with Quark."
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a position she sort of has to be in, whether she likes it or not, right?
Oh, I imagine morale is like has bottomed out multiple times already.
Well, and you feel like at the start of this episode, it's definitely at a lower ebb.
Yeah, and everybody's like super heartened by the letters. They're like, all right, letters.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like, I feel like actually at first they're like, hey, a possible wormhole. And it's like, oh, it's a shit wormhole.
No wonder they named it after Harry Kim.
Poor Harry.
I'm just
Seriously.
kidding. I actually like Harry. I just know that I know things about Harry and his position. That's all.
Yeah, we also see we're back to using the replicators all the fucking time, even though, like, what, last week, 2 weeks ago, it was, we can't use the replicators. We have to, like, find all this energy because we need to eat nothing but sludge forever now.
Maybe they got some batteries.
Yeah, when we weren't looking, you know.
Yeah.
Why choose
we don't
vegetable
see
broth?
everything that happens on the ship.
We should.
You choose vegetable broth because you hate yourself.
That's true.
I gotta say, there's a couple things about this episode that really ticked me off. That
Oh, no.
I couldn't
Tess's
get past.
new wig, worse than ever.
That was pretty bad. So the technobabble was pretty bad at points. There's like a point where I think it's Harry says something like, "Oh, I have to increase the power to the bandwidth," or something like that. It's just completely nonsensical, and that's irritating. But I think the one thing that really got me the most, that I just can't get past it. So there's a scene when they think they might, right after B'Elanna, I think, tells Janeway about the transporter possibility. and Janeway's in her office. She picks up a photograph, and it's got her boyfriend, and it's got the dog in it. And I just couldn't understand why it had the dog in it. I thought it should have just been a picture of the boyfriend.
Are you setting me up here, Jake?
Why,
is this you setting me up for a story?
Why would they include the dog in that photograph when they could have just been the boyfriend? Because now I'm confused. Because, you know, as a
Does
viewer,
she love the guy or the dog?
Yeah, I don't know who she's missing
The
at
dog.
this point. It could be, but it's left ambiguous.
Nope,
and I
definitely
really
the dog.
think that the writers should have clarified which figure in that photograph she was missing, the boyfriend or the dog. And it's left me in a state of complete confusion. And I really don't know what to do about this.
I'm not sure what your angle is here, but there's clearly an angle.
Jake's angle, I believe, is, good God, don't read Memory Alpha for the first season of Voyager. Because some dipshit went through, like, some kind of collection of anecdotes for the first season of Voyager, specifically for Caretaker and for this episode, Eye of the Needle. And basically just transcribed every single thing that happened on the episode.
Oh, God.
And it's so unnecessary. Like, I shared on chat with you jerks that there was, like, a note that was like, there are no new aliens to design makeup for in this episode, so the makeup artist so-and-so took the weekly meeting off. That's an anecdote that they think is worth putting on the internet. But the anecdote about this one was, the producers, somebody said, oh, we should have a different photograph than dude with dog. We should have a photograph of just the dude. But that means we're going to have to come up with some kind of a photo shoot for the guy or cut the photo entirely. And evidently, because what we see in the episode is dude with dog, that didn't happen. So it's like, thanks, anecdote that doesn't even tell us anything because it didn't happen.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll even out on Memory Alpha as the show progresses, because I don't think whatever this source material is from goes into later seasons in as much detail.
Thank God.
Yeah, so if that doesn't make it clear, yeah, I just wanted to set aim.
Yeah, no, that
makes
sense now.
What actual fun notes do I have for oh my God, here's a really fucking stupid note for stuff that was happening in first season of Voyager. I think this technically started last week, but there were a lot of notes on it, because of course there were on Memory Alpha for this week. Because for much of the first season of Voyager, and then never again for reasons, they switched from a 5-act structure, which is what we always see in Star Trek, to a 4-act structure. I don't know why. You'd think they'd want an extra commercial break to get money, but shrug. And that held up the writing, because, you know, they write the episode, they're like, yeah, episode. Oh, wait, we have to switch to a 4-act structure, which means we have to figure out where the ad breaks need to be and entirely recut the whole fucking script. And it sounds like a nightmare for no fucking reason.
You know what it is? It's they hired Ronnie Cox as the new showrunner.
Oh.
And he insisted on going to a 4-act rotation.
Shift, yeah. I think you're...
I don't get the joke.
Ronnie Cox was Jellicoe.
Oh.
And Jellicoe instated the 4 shifts, and Riker was like, wah!
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Good joke, Jake. Sorry that I was too dumb to get it at first.
I'm willing to bet what happened. It wasn't so much they lost commercials, they probably just tacked the time on to the other breaks. And
yeah, because I don't think these
longer.
episodes are any longer than other series.
Yeah, it was just a reshuffle.
No, it's just where the breaks happen.
But I mean, I could see there being advantages from a storytelling perspective, because you kind of you can let things breathe a little bit more. You don't have to jump around as much. You know.
Yeah, but if you're used to a 5-act, now you have to start thinking a whole different way. Like,
for the writers, it must have sucked.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like chaos.
Sure.
On the bridge.
It had to be somebody's idea. Somebody had to think it was a good move.
Probably some schmuck at Paramount.
Yeah, it's probably someone at the network being like, we can have longer ads and charge more or something. Like, I'm sure it was a purely business decision.
I mean, I think we mentioned this, or maybe we didn't. I don't remember if we mentioned this, but Voyager was the launch property for UPN.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't think we did. Rather silly of us.
Yeah, because that was actually a huge deal at the time. So UPN was the new Paramount network that they were launching.
Yeah.
And DS9 and TNG famously were first run syndication. So they
Yeah.
didn't
Smart
have a
move.
network. So this is the first Star Trek show really since the 60s to have a network behind it. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was more network meddling than
Yeah.
Almost
previous.
certainly.
Demanding fewer pictures of that beautiful dog. Assholes.
Well, and then, of course, we're going to have a lot of ham-fisted wrestler cameos once they get the WWF contract.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. I allow those because they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see The Rock at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wanna
I
see
think
The
in
Rock at some point?
his first non-wrestling television appearance, I think.
He seems like he's just such a cool dude. I'm really glad that, like, something that isn't actively causing him huge amounts of bodily harm is, like, working out for him.
The damage has been done, I'm sure.
Some. But also now he can afford good health insurance, so... There was actually, I remember back before Phase 2 became the motion picture, the idea had been to potentially launch a Paramount network
Yeah.
with Phase 2. So this was
And then
kind of
neither of those things happened.
Yeah, no. But it was something that had clearly been in the back of Paramount's head for a while.
Oh yeah, because it gives you a money.
I also remember they had, like... I remember seeing ads for their Saturday morning cartoon block during Voyager as a kid.
Ooh, anything good?
I don't remember. I just remember the incredibly terrible tagline, which was "Get ready for some oopin' action."
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Yep,
I think I'm dumber for having heard that.
hand to God.
I've told the story on the show before about when I had auditioned to be a UPN
Like a
correspondent.
newscaster, right?
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
hockey guy, right?
Correspondent.
with the hockey guy. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
you
I
told
told
that.
that story. I didn't
Not
need to
that
tell it
long
again.
ago, actually. I feel
I
like.
got clobbered.
You can
Yeah.
tell it again.
No,
No,
it's
you
all
can't.
right.
It's a long
I
story.
don't want to take up the time.
Um,
Go
it-
back
it
to
definitely-
episode. Chris, insert episode number here
That's not gonna happen.
to learn more.
5.
Mr. Black.
Yeah, episode 5. Just go listen to the pizza rant.
Was that the pizza rant? Hang
It
on,
was
I got
5 or
this-
6.
I
It's
got
one of
the
the early
spreadsheet
ones.
open.
For some reason, you said pizza rant, and I, in my head, started a version of the ninja rap from Turtles 2, but now it's pizza rant.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. So there's the subplot here with like,
Oh, the doctor plot?
yeah. That was.
Dude, is Kes gonna bone the doctor or what?
I don't know. Neelix will probably like try to kill him.
I don't sense a boniness between them. I think they're just buddies.
Is it just
Yeah.
me then?
Yeah,
It
it
might
might
just
be.
be.
Pizza
Okay.
rant is episode 12, by the way.
That late? Wow.
Oh,
Mhm.
Like I like their relationship. It feels very like just mentor and student.
Oh yeah, and I actually really like how they're portraying Kes as having like an eidetic memory and learning really fast, because that makes so much sense for her race, because
Yeah,
they
it
would
would.
have to.
Yeah.
They
Otherwise,
have to just
yeah.
look at something and be like, okay, now I know everything about that thing because I need to know before I die.
It makes evolutionary sense, unlike some stuff we're going to talk about in the next episode.
Fucking hate the next episode.
But yeah, I like that, again, it's always interesting when you have these sort of people that aren't Starfleet who are better at being Starfleet. Like, we had Jake in the early seasons of DS9 being like, I am going to befriend this Ferengi dad, fuck you.
Yeah, and then Wesley speaking up for Native Americans.
True.
But then fucking it up by going on a vision quest or whatever.
Yeah,
He didn't
yeah.
ask to. It just happened.
The episode meant well.
Well, I'm not saying.
maybe?
I guess let me say. I'm not saying Wesley fucked it up. I'm saying it got fucked up. So
Oh, well,
sorry.
yeah. That
I
episode
apologize,
fucked itself up.
Wesley. I didn't mean to.
And Kes just being like, look, he's like a person. Treat him like one.
I know, and she also comes in with a very different context for life, because she comes from a race of people who like live underground and
Yeah.
have to figure out energy shit from the caretaker, and she probably comes out and says, "Yeah, why aren't you treating him well? I don't understand what you're talking about."
Yeah, it's because it's weird because of course even he's sort of again the interesting difference between him and say Data, which again artificial life form, so kind of inevitable comparison. Like he is even sort of programmed to be like I'm just a hologram, so even he has to be sort of talked into believing in his own existence.
Yeah, like Vic.
Yeah.
Say what you will about Vic, the concept of a self-aware AI is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Vic was like programmed to know what he was and be comfortable with it. The Doctor is programmed to know what he is and not really give a fuck because he's not supposed to be on a lot.
Yeah, he
but
accepted pretty quickly. Like, oh, if you guys all transport over to the Romulan ship, I'm gonna be left behind. So, bye, I guess.
I feel like he was kind of sad about it.
Yeah,
though.
he wanted to make sure he was shut off before they left,
Which is super sad.
Yeah.
It was really
But
sad.
here's the thing, like I would say this is a little bit of an aside from the Doctor thing, but I would think that
On this show?
if they beamed
Okay.
everybody through the wormhole to the other side, the only thing Janeway could do or should do is set the self-destruct, right?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
There's no
You have to.
there's no way they're going to leave the
right.
ship
The
abandoned.
Kazon will grab it.
Right, because someone else could, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Or those
definitely.
dicks from the next episode.
But anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah, no, you would
I agree
definitely
with you.
have to.
The Doctor thing, it does kind of irritate me though, because it irritates me that Kes seems to be the only person that has figured this out.
Yeah. Well, again, like Starfleet
It's because she's so full of wonder.
It's because the EMH is kind of a jerk.
Well, he is a jerk, but also just the fact that like everybody else, including Janeway, seems to think of him as a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Which, sure, but I don't know. It doesn't seem. It doesn't seem realistic to me. I think more people would treat him like a person. And I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, and I think the character who is treating him like a douchebag in this episode, right? It's
Lieutenant
Oh,
Walter
Baxter.
Baxter, according
That
to
guy.
wasn't that the same guy from like the first episode who was being a dink to Paris, or are they just similarly dinkish?
Yeah, no, that
No.
guy died.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
good.
died.
Well, I'm glad he's dead. The point is, I feel like this guy probably would, like, I would expect at least one person to be like, what? He's a fucking fax machine. What do you want? So I guess, like, this one dude doing it wouldn't be surprising, but, like, yes, like you say, like, the fact that even Janeway isn't, like, woke enough to sort of see him for what he is shitty.
Well, I feel like there are probably other characters too. Like I feel like Paris would be nice to the Doctor because I feel like the couple times we've seen the two of them interact, he's kind of like been, yeah, you're a good enough dude. I might as well treat you like a good dude. And
Or at least
Neelix, for sure, after the whole phage incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
Yeah, like I
guess-
think Tom treats the Doctor the way he treats basically everyone, which is to be kind of a weird, cocky, snarky weirdo at him. And I think Neelix just takes whatever at face value, and if Kes says he's a person, then that's fine by Neelix.
Yeah,
I
you'll
don't know,
also notice no Neelix in this episode because
I
he had a
did,
scene that
actually.
got cut.
I did, and it was great.
I noticed in the next episode when he came in, I was like, hey, we didn't have Neelix last episode, did we?
Yeah, there was supposed to be a scene with him and Kes when she was going to be like, I'm going to go talk to the Doctor about the EMH. And he'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Also tell her about my fruit. And that would have been their scene.
I feel like the scene should have been like, so are we gonna go with them if they go? Because Cass says it as a very matter-of-fact thing to the Doctor, but you imagine that would have been a discussion they would have had. It's like, hey, do we want to, like, abandon the only place either of us have known and go chill with these weirdos in their quadrant?
I mean, they kind of already have, though.
But
Like,
it-
they already sort of made the choice to be with them. I sort
Yeah,
of
it
feel
would
like.
just
But
be
it's-
faster than they were expecting.
Plus, like, what home do they have to go back to? Like, Kes really can't
Well,
go
yeah.
home. And we don't really know what Neelix's home was yet, because, either he was a weird fucking recluse whose people didn't like him anyway, or... Actually, that's the only possibility as far as I can see.
well, we don't know. He was a scavenger, it seemed
I
like.
know, I'm just teasing. I actually don't even dislike Neelix that much. I still think he's creepy looking, but his character doesn't really bother me.
I'm
But,
wondering, as we're getting further and further from where they found Neelix, at what point he's going to stop having relevant information to share. Because he gives
Yeah.
some relevant information in the next episode. I'm like, how do you know these people? There's only so many people you can know personally.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. You ever go to your hometown and your dad just seems to run into people everywhere you go?
No, my dad's not very social.
Oh, my dad is like that. We had anywhere we went when I was a kid, he'd run into like 6 people he knew. Oh, Greg. Oh,
Oh,
hey.
yeah, my
all the
mom,
time,
though.
always.
Because my mom was a high school teacher. She
There
would
you
run
go.
into her students.
But I still feel like, though, there's a difference between, like, I'm going to hang out with these people I don't know in a place I am maybe pseudo-familiar with.
But it's such a big place.
Yeah, but it's like, it would be like, I don't know, if I suddenly decided to start wandering the United States versus wandering Russia.
Okay, but consider that before meeting the folks on the Voyager,
Thank you.
Neelix couldn't fucking get water. I feel like I'd be like,
Well,
they
that
seem
area-
to come from the land of plenty where there's shit tons of water. I would definitely go with them.
I'm just saying, it would have been an interesting scene.
Yes, it would have been. But yeah, I mean, you're right. They would have had a discussion, but I feel like the outcome is obvious. Like, I don't see how they could make any other choice.
I know, but... Yeah.
I also sort of wonder if they're, like, now on the run from those other dickheads because of what went down, you know?
I know we see more Kazon. I don't remember the context for which we see more Kazon, but there will be more.
Yeah, Voyager tries to make them a thing for a while.
Sounds great. And then they say fuck it and go with the Borg instead.
That is vaguely how I recall it, but it's been, 20 years.
Cool.
Actually more, Jesus.
Yep, we're old, and so is this show.
Where else? Oh, yeah. There's the scene where Janeway gets a call from the captain in the middle of the night, and she's near, like, her fucking slip or whatever.
Nice.
And I was like, and they're talking about doing a visual link, and I was like, does she mean now? Like, this seems inappropriate. And she meant later, of course, but it was like, is she going to try to seduce this guy? What's
Damn
going on?
right.
Let me put several shirts on. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's a nice scene, though, because
Oh, it is.
the choice of having their first actual, like, deep conversation whilst she's in basically the dark, at night, even though there's no night in space, and the fact that Remor eventually says good night, I'm like, really? Are you on the same schedule as the Voyager, Mr.
Apparently.
Romulan? But okay. But also, it's such a vulnerable moment because it allows you to get a little more personal because you're in your quarters, you're in your bed, you're in your
and
nightshirt.
Exactly, literally stripped down.
Yeah, it's like, even when we would see, like, other officers in their quarters, the whole tone of the scene can be changed if they are still in uniform, Like, we would see Picard at his desk a lot in his free time in uniform, working on, like, his archaeology hobby or whatever. Cisco, sometimes in
Torturing
uniform.
Livingston.
Yeah, sometimes in uniform, sometimes, in civilian clothes making dinner. And again, that would change the tone of the scene very dramatically.
Well, I also feel like it helps that the writers are like, oh yeah, she's got tits. Let's put her in something more comfortable. Am I
They
right?
let her have her hair down, even
They
though they
did.
complain about it all the time.
Jesus.
Monster.
But yeah, no, once I realized, no, they weren't going to have the call right then. It was a good scene. Like you said, I think because it had that
Intimacy.
Yeah. And the fact that it's night on the Romulans, and no matter how... I mean, we just kind of always accepted that apparently the Alpha Quadrant, even the enemies, all agreed on a standard time, because, they never run into each other where, like, hold! I must get my captain, for it is our night shift. Like,
Right.
oh, for God's sake.
It is our night shift.
But you kind of get the sense that, he's probably in his quarters, wearing his giant shoulder pajamas, because
Yes.
all Romulan clothes had to have giant shoulders.
Oh my god.
And yeah, it's a really, like I said, it's a really nicely done scene.
It was really good. I actually really do kind of feel like this is the best episode we've seen so far, and I know it's still like relatively early days, but most of them I felt kind of... I guess Chris was reminding me that I really liked the first episode a lot as well, but I think this one is still, so far, my fave.
This one, it has great character work. It has a great twisty ending, which, I'm all about.
I had no idea, too. I did not see it coming. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was like, no.
Yeah, you'd think it would be like, oh no, something just went wrong and we can't do it.
Yeah, like the
"Oh,
wormhole
no."
closed, because it was all like, oh, the wormhole could collapse at any second. That's
Yeah,
sort of
like
what I was expecting.
I was like, I don't know what the problem's gonna be, but there's gonna be one. I was like, oh, that's okay.
Well, and I also kind of thought, when the guy was like, no, I obviously fucking can't have you come here. No, I thought that was going to be the problem. And I was like, fuck.
Which, I mean,
It was a problem, but, it wasn't the ultimate problem.
No.
Then it was time. Then he's dead. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck. Didn't expect so
Tuvok.
many twisteroos.
Tuvok, buzzkill extraordinaire.
Well, he is a
it's-
Vulcan.
Yeah, also true.
In both of the episodes we're covering today, I have just notes of like just some on the set sass, which I think are very amusing because I don't know. I feel like in previous shows like TOS, there was probably less like sassing going on, but in like TNG and this crew, like they all get along, and at the reveal of the time thing is going to be wrong. And they're doing the close-up on Tuvok, who's, a Vulcan, who's being all logical and serious about this. Robert Beltran says, "Does that mean we're fucked?" To get him to laugh. Which is very cute.
Ah, you prick. That's wonderful.
Well, hopefully it was already a bad take, because otherwise that's just cruel.
So, I read something today online, which I don't know the veracity of, but I like it. And it reminded me of, I don't remember if it was this week or a previous week, and I forgot to mention it. But I noticed once that at some point recently, Tuvok said sensors, which is a very, Mr. Spock way to say sensors. And the thing I saw online today alleged that the reason Nimoy said it that way, he was overemphasizing it, was because he was worried his Boston accent would slip out.
Oh, funny.
If he just said sensors, it would become like senses. And that's why he hit sensors so weird.
A Vulcan with a Boston accent would be very funny.
It would be, especially if they were still like in every other way your typical Vulcan. You just
Captain,
be like,
we got some shit on the senses here, kid. It don't make no logical sense.
It's a baby fucking wheel.
Yes!
Oh my god, Star Trek 4. It's a baby fucking wheel.
Gracie's pregnant.
Yeah,
She's having
I'm just
a baby
fucking wheel. Oh, you son of a bitch! You beat me. I was right there with you, but goddamn, it's so good.
Although, here's the thing, though: if Leonard Nimoy had a Boston accent, then that would have been the Vulcan accent. And people,
my god!
And imagine that. Imagine if in the '60s, the smartest character on Star Trek had a Boston accent.
Nobody would have bought it.
Well, no, by now, people would just associate the Boston accent with being smart. And
Real wicked fucking smart
not a
kid.
fucking moron.
Yeah, our Romulan captain.
You out of your Vulcan mind?
We'll see him a lot in Enterprise as an admiral.
Uh-huh.
Who did we already see him as? I know we already had it. Was it a Klingon?
A couple of things. We've seen him as Captain Chorus, who was one of the Klingons in Heart of Glory.
Right.
Gul Danar, who was a Cardassian in past prologue.
Wow.
And also more recently as Seskal, who was a Cardassian toward the end of DS9. If you remember me saying like, man, it was confusing when they killed Seskal, because they keep saying Seskal and it sounds like Cisco.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Damar's friend.
Yeah.
We're going to see him as a bunch more things.
Yeah, I first saw, I was like, I know that guy. And I looked, that's
Ron
why.
Armstrong.
Yep. Admiral Hoodly-Doo.
Yeah, about the Romulans, the other interesting thing, because they give the years that all of this has happened, and when you do the math, you realize, okay, so this guy is from a time 13 years before the neutral zone, and the Romulans were officially back. So he doesn't even know that they're back at this point.
Fuck, that's right.
We're back.
I didn't even consider that.
This is also wouldn't be too long after the Enterprise C incident.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I mean,
so that would really
years.
Baby Sela running around.
Yeah. And extra levels of Romulan paranoia about the Federation at that point. That didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, because part of me is like, so what? So fucking what if it's 20 years in the past? You go there, maybe they can put you on ice for 20 years.
Fly around the sun.
But then I'm like, no, they would just kill most of the crew and possibly rape some of them, because that's what they did to the Enterprise C crew.
Yeah.
Which they captured.
The Romulans killed and raped people?
Yeah, remember from yesterday's Enterprise?
That's how Sela exists, because Romulan commander took Tasha Yar as a concubine.
Oh, gross! I forgot.
Yeah, it was gross. I don't blame you for forgetting. It's awful.
Which, in retrospect, seems like kind of weird. Like, we don't know loads about the Romulans, but that feels a little like.
Well, maybe he really loved her shoulder pads or something.
Like, I believe they execute the fuck out of people. Shit, they kill their own people at the drop of a hat, but the, like, taking war brides thing feels a little out of character, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like more original, like, TOS Klingon.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Than Romulan, or even later Klingon.
Right, yeah. Later Klingons, there's no honor in that.
You know. The,
Well,
yeah.
we do know that Romulans are without honor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to the Klingons.
Hmm. This Romulan seems to have a fair amount of honor, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
why
he's
he's dead.
He's just a scientist, you know?
Yeah, but
Which means he might have honors, but he also might have questionable morals.
Yeah, he trusts, Janeway enough to beam to her ship.
Yeah.
Without really knowing much.
Which, I mean, holy shit, that's a ballsy move.
Because, like, here's the thing. Like,
leap.
imagine, because originally he's like, oh, this is some sort of a trick.
Yeah.
Well, what if it had been a trick? Then she would have just captured a Romulan scientist. You could debrief him, torture him, do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Killed him and raped him.
So he has a lot of trust. Good for him.
Well, we also have to know, like, he's specifically in the science field. So he probably, like, thinks of these things as, like, very interesting, too. Like, he wants to know more about this whole Delta Quadrant experience.
Yeah.
But you got to figure, like, he's a Romulan scientist, but he's a Romulan military scientist. And, like...
No, I doubt there's a civilian sort of science core in the Romulan Empire.
Well, I'm sure there's, like, universities and things that may or may not.
I imagine they're all state-run, though, you know?
Well, I don't think we know enough to say either. What my point was this, that this could be Dr. Mengele, or this could be, we don't know. Sciences doesn't someone that studies a scientist doesn't automatically make them a benign individual.
No, that's true.
He could still be a piece of shit. But
I guess we're sort of using Star Trek shorthand, where when you see a scientist from a society that you normally don't see the scientist from, they are often depicted as, like, the nice one.
Mm.
Yeah, but even if he is evil, I would say, like, being a scientist would make him curious.
True.
Definitely.
More than another job title.
Could be Ira Graves, man. He's a scientist. Piece of shit.
Fuck, which one was Graves?
He's the
Grandpa.
one that stole Dave's
Jameson?
body.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, no, that guy. Fuck him.
Oh, well, Jameson, well, I mean, he was an admiral, but...
that goes without saying they're evil.
He had an interest in the sciences.
Admirals
Sciences
are crooked.
of making himself young.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
Admirals are crooked until proven not.
Right.
True.
And even then, they could always turn on you. Look at fucking Cisco's dad.
Cartwright. Yeah.
Cartwright, thank you.
One quick note back to when we were talking about Kes and Kes learning all the organs and stuff, and she makes this comment that's like, doing an autopsy would be really neat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh God, Kes, this is how you become a serial killer.
Ooh.
Doc's like, that can be arranged.
The delivery of it was just so creepy. It's like, why did you choose this?
If Baxter comes back with another exercise-related injury, we'll fucking autopsy him alive.
Oh no.
See, when you do this to the meniscus, screaming, it's bad for it.
I like that really, like, the time he asserts himself is after he has had to scan Baxter's balls. He's like, look here, I do not want to have to scan your balls again. Stop not stretching before exercise.
Had to scan his balls.
Because he was scanning between his legs. I mean, I don't know. I forget what Baxter
probably pulled a groin.
Claimed the injury was, but...
Stop jerking it so hard, you asshole. Other people have real medical problems. Jesus.
How do you think the holographic doctor checks a
Checks
prostate?
for a hernia?
Does what?
The prostate check.
Oh.
The same way a normal doctor would?
Yeah, with his finger?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I
Or
imagine
with a
the
tricorder, really.
Nowadays, yeah, everything's the tricorder, so...
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Takes all the fun out of your annual visit, eh?
I know. Come on.
Yeah, he's up there. He's like, so, Doc, can you like change the shape and size of that thing while you're in there? Because feel free, go nuts, poke around.
The thing is, like, he's a hologram, right? So there's no reason why he couldn't make an eyeball at the end of his finger.
That's
I
true.
bet that's not in his programming.
It would
But
be very.
Kess might
See, here's the
whisper
thing
in
about the
his ear.
holographic doctor. I feel like the human form factor of the holographic doctor is less useful.
It's really kind of just holding them back, really.
Like it's good. It's good in the
It
sense
should be
that
some
you,
kind of squid.
right. You know, it's good in the sense that you want your
Yikes.
doctor to be relatable and for people to trust them. But at the same time, it's like, man, it would be really fucking useful if he had 6 arms, right? Or if like
I think
he had like, you know, really long arms and could treat multiple people at once. Or maybe like
Yeah.
he could change forms if needed.
That would actually be kind of like, I mean, you know, something that'd be fun to see in a future series, just like an EMH or something. But when one patient leaves, another comes in, they
change to the
same
that species. That would be cool.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we see.
like
Go ahead.
99% of Voyager. I think the only alien on Voyager, like,
Is Neelix?
well, the only non-humans that we've seen so far. Well, we've seen a couple Bajorans, a Vulcan, B'Elanna, of course, and Neelix and Cass. Seems like 99% of the crew is human, though.
Did you say Tuvok, or did I miss you say Tuvok?
Nope, he didn't say
He didn't say
Tuvok.
Tuvok, but
I meant to, but yeah.
yeah, and like a lot of the aliens that we do see are all Maquis.
True.
You know, so other than Tuvok, I think I know of at least one other, maybe 2 other. I can't remember if one of them is an original Voyager crew or Maquis, but there's a couple other aliens that we'll see that are named characters.
Okay.
And I think pretty sure at least one of them is Starfleet. So
That's why I think it's actually fairly interesting. If you guys have been watching Prodigy,
Not
it's
yet, we
fairly
haven't had a
interesting.
chance.
No fucking humans. It's pretty great.
Yeah. No, we have not had a chance since it premiered, which, you know, is I really want to get to it. So
Yeah, sorry, that's mostly my fault. My stupid job schedule.
yeah. Anything else on this one before we move on, or
Don't think so.
it was really good.
Yeah, it's
I
a good
liked it
episode.
lot.
I think I know we're saying like, oh yeah, the most of season 1 of Voyager is pretty meh. I think just as general Star Trek, this is still a very good episode.
I mean, I
Definitely.
think as far as first season Trek goes, it's doing quite well for itself. I mean, look at the first season of TNG.
I don't know. Look at this next episode we're talking about.
Oh, I hate it. Jesus, it's bad.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, I mean, I have too. We've
I
watched
don't
all the
know.
same shit, but
I don't know.
it's
Tell us about
pretty
this
bad.
episode, Chris, because woof.
I mean,
Literally.
there's something about this episode
Woof.
I definitely despise, but we'll get to that. In Post Facto, we open up on Tom Paris witnessing a murder that he committed?
What?
So, at the advice of
In
Neelix,
black and white, if you noticed.
Yes, in black and white, all very film noir. You know, at the
It's
advice
pronounced Noir.
But Van Gogh? Anyway, so at the advice of Neelix, the crew has popped over to this planet,
Bania?
something like
I
that.
think it's Bania.
Neelix,
Yeah.
you stupid.
We meet
Because,
the
like-
Banians.
Yeah, we meet the Banians, and there's also these other aliens that what are they?
Numiri.
there was
Yeah,
the
the Numiri.
Numiri. There was the Benians.
You're
Sure,
right. The Banians,
I don't know how it was pronounced.
the
so.
Banians and the Numiri. They used to cohabit the same planet. Now they don't, but they're still in the same system, I think. And they're like always at war, and it's a whole thing. And they're popping by to see the Banians because apparently they're like really good with warp fields or something, and they're going to improve Voyager's efficiency. It really is beside the point. It's to get them there so that Tom Paris can allegedly kill a scientist. And on this world, the punishment for murder is every 16 or 14 hours, one or the other.
14.
14 hours, you relive the murder through the eyes of your victim, because through some sort of magic science, they can like
Katra. Using their
Yeah.
Katra.
they can Katra some people like their last moments. They then, let Harry go back to the ship after almost killing him via dehydration.
Mean. Jesus.
Yeah, I was
Harry
gonna say,
didn't do
that must
anything.
be a motherfucker of a way to go, too.
Harry,
Yeah, no,
Harry is having a bad series so far.
already, like, just Yeah, they'd gone with the shuttle because Janeway was like, I don't want to go with the ship and cause a whole kerfuffle. But now she's like, well, fuck this noise. So she goes in and is like, we are going to prove his innocence. Tuvok, being the security officer, is also chief detective, as we know from TNG and DS9. And he says
that was Data.
Yeah, it's true.
Wasn't he the science officer, though?
He wasn't the security officer.
Oh, right, you said security, not science, sorry.
But, so Tuvok does some investigating, and, meanwhile it turns out the implant, while it's fine, if psychologically torturous for the Benians, is actually, like, destroying Tom's brain. So they're like, well, we could remove the implant, but then we might have to revert to the old method of punishment for murder, which was execution.
Whoops.
Classic.
Yep. So eventually, there's Tom is like, I don't remember anything. Yes, me and this woman were kind of making eyes at each other. The guy who killed her husband, and lips. But he doesn't remember the actual murder. She gave him some tea, and it was probably spiked. And at some point, Tuvok's like, well, clearly the only answer here is a mind meld. And everyone loses their shit because we haven't seen one of those since, like, Star Trek VI. Because we haven't had a regular Vulcan crew member in the longest time.
And wasn't the one in 6 the really creepy mind
it was
rapey
awful.
one? What the
Was
fuck,
that before
Spock?
or after, was it Unification when Sarek and Spock meld with Picard?
Oh, right.
Sarek melds with Picard. And
I forgot about that.
Unification, Picard melds with Spock.
That's right. But either way, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. So Tuvok melds with Paris. And it's like, okay, I've got some stuff. And first of all, I was like, so did anyone notice this text? And Tom's like, yeah, I just assumed that was part of it. And the locals are like, it's not supposed to be text. And then he's like, oh, also, the heights don't make sense. Tom is, taller than the lady, but apparently, like, based on the stabbing, he couldn't have been Tom. And anyway, it works out that this was a really elaborate scheme to implant...
Don't forget the dog, Chris.
Oh, I'm getting to that.
Okay,
secret
good.
Information into Tom's head so that he'd then be kidnapped by the Numiri, who would take it out of his head and then they'd kill him or whatever. And yeah, the culprits were the wife and the...
The doctor doesn't get a name.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, the doctor who did the implant in the first place, who it turns out was also fucking the guy's wife.
Woo!
And yeah, part of the proof of that is the fact that the wife's ugly, horrible dog is nasty, is like barky at strangers, but when is let into the room, not only doesn't dislike the doctor, starts to try to hump his leg.
You see, they originally wanted only the guy in the picture, not the guy of the dog, but
Yeah.
oh wait, that was last episode.
Thank you, Ames.
Clearly, the dog had fucked the doctor previously.
Or at least his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I described it kind of poorly, but it's also kind of dumb.
It's like
not
a
The
weird
resolution's
episode.
awful.
It's like a weird fucking
Poirot.
yeah, well, it's like they took they took elements from Necessary Evil and Hard Time.
Yeah.
And combined them into this really shitty melange.
With matter of perspective. Don't forget that one.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of matter yet with the doctor's wife.
And
connected.
Aquil, because there's a dog.
And
that was my first thought. Was like, didn't we do this with Riker already?
Yeah.
And Geordi and whoever else. Like, yeah, it's not interesting. There's not, like, the only thing that you could say is kind of sci-fi-y is the whole, they're trying to get these equations to the Numiri, which comes out convoluted as hell.
It was kind of nice watching Tuvok detective around, but because the resolution was so dumb, it kind of retroactively ruins it. And dear fucking God, I do not know who designed these aliens, but they should be shot out of a cannon.
Oh my
into
God,
the sun.
that's right.
That's
these
the thing you
stupid
don't-
fur and feather fucking
bird head
aliens.
I thought it was going to be the dog you didn't like, because I did not like the,
I don't like the dog either,
resolution with the dog.
But, oh my fuck. Like, look, I was talking about evolution. Maybe there's an animal.
Oh,
that
not
would
the
have-
not the episode evolution, but actual evolution.
Yeah, but yeah, like maybe there's an animal that would have fur and feathers, but they wouldn't be on the same part of the body. the fact that they have this weird blend of hair and feathers, which at first I thought they always had giant scabs on their heads.
Oh.
Which was nasty, till I realized it was feathers, just looked dumb.
They look bad.
This makeup was vile. I despised it. It was so stupid and poorly thought out and poorly done. Like, everything about it was reprehensible.
The eyebrows were kind of cool looking.
Like, if it had just been feather caps, like they have
with
feathers instead of hair,
yeah,
they look like burn victims. Yeah,
they
did. Oh my god, they did.
Really bad. I don't know who greenlit it. It was fucking awful.
See, maybe because the makeup artist took last week off, he decided I have more time to play with this week now.
It was so.
It all comes around.
It just.
Well, but they still had to do Neelix this week, so.
Yeah, but they already know Neelix's makeup. This is the design of the makeup, not the application.
And there's also even just the fact that everything about them, aside from the weird feathers on their head, there's nothing particularly bird-like about them. Like, they have normal noses. You know, maybe if the noses had looked like they were, like...
beaky?
A little more beaky or something, maybe chitinous. Like, I just...
They were like, if they were like the Rito from...
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, from Wind Waker. Oh my god, whenever one of them was on screen, which is way too often, all I could do is stare at their dumb heads and go like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this.
Can confirm that's what he did the whole time.
Do you think the curtains match the carpet?
Oh god, I hope not. I don't. The fuck knows. They probably have fucking tentacles down there.
Well, the curtains didn't even match the drapes, so I don't think anything matches.
The curtains didn't match the curtains!
Their only other bird-like feature is a cloaca.
Oh, no. And that's why Paris doesn't remember any of this.
Oh, Paris, you horny asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there were just so many cringy scenes.
Yep.
I know. It kind of harms the Paris character. Like, a lot of people, like, look at this episode in hindsight and say, like, yeah, we tried to steer away from making Paris anything like that ever again because it just came off wrong for his character.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, okay, he didn't murder the husband, but he definitely didn't act appropriately with the wife. You know?
Right in the cloaca. Ugh.
Right in the cloaca.
Ick.
Episode title. Not really.
No.
Yeah, and like, I have to, okay, so that I know, we didn't get Neelix last week, we got Neelix this week, and I have to say, Neelix delivered the best line in the best way.
Yes.
It's my favorite line of the series so far, and it's when Tuvok says, "Oh, I will attempt a mind meld with Paris to determine what's going on," and Neelix just says, I think it's like, "What? A mind what?"
Yeah.
Cut. And then it just cuts to a different scene.
It's great.
It was a great delivery by Ethan Phillips.
Yeah,
Totally
and it also reminds you that
the Neelix character.
Yeah, it reminds you that they wouldn't know what any of this is. They're new to this, to all of you people and your race's weird abilities. How many islands does Tuvok have? 5? What?
So many.
Wait till you find out where his heart is.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Well, we know where the Benean heart is.
Yeah.
Somewhere else doesn't make any sense.
It's at least still behind the rib cage, unlike the Vulcan heart. Which really, that just makes no sense.
But are their genitals behind their knees?
Yes.
Ick.
They have a knee cloaca.
Neaca.
My knee aches quite often. Ha-ha!
Oh, boom.
Back to the Paris character assassination, though. But this was written before they even had cast Robert Duncan McNeil.
Oh.
So they didn't even know who the actor was going to be. They were still fleshing out the character. So basically, and this is what I read, was that the writer ended up basically writing a Kirk and/or Riker.
I was going to say a Riker episode. I was just going to say that.
That's the thing we even saw kind of in the first episode a little, was like, clearly their original idea for Tom was very like Kirk drift Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
basically
still,
Riker.
Yeah. So we're still kind of in that area. Yeah, I guess they would have written the bulk of the first season without even knowing who was going to play those characters. That never occurred to me, but yeah, it's sort of obvious in retrospect. That's crazy.
I know, you'd think, like, it must help so much when you're writing and you know, at the very least, what the actor's going to look like. Because, they wrote very specifically, like, oh, he's going to be this much taller than the woman, without even having cast any of these roles yet.
Good news, we cast Peter Dinklage.
Well,
they're a fucking...
But also, it's easy.
Those
are details that are very easy to change.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
And yes,
Finding a woman who is shorter than a female actor who is shorter than a male actor is probably really easy.
he'd be a good corrupt admiral, Peter Dinklage.
Ooh.
Yeah, he would.
That'd be real fun.
Doesn't he what does he do? Drink food and knows things, or what the fuck is it?
I drink and I
food.
know things.
I mean, that's his character on a different show. That's not necessarily Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what it was that Tyrion said.
Yeah, no, I just feel like, I mean, he could also play a good admiral, but I'd rather watch him as an evil one. Feel like he'd
I would
nail
just
it.
love to see him on Star Trek. He'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, he is fucking great.
Yeah, so this
I did-
episode, written by Michael Piller, and it was his decision or his recommendation that they shoot it in black and white and go real noiry with it. And director LeVar Burton comes in and says,
That's right.
yeah, let's go real noiry with it. Because every time we've done noir, it's been perfect. Oh, not every time. Not every time, LeVar.
No, it doesn't work. It's a dumb device. I know
It's
what
worked
they're doing.
kind of once.
When did it work?
I thought you really liked Past Prologue. Not Past Prologue. The one with Kira
Oh,
Kira murdering somebody in the past.
yeah. I literally just said the name of the episode
Yeah.
minutes ago. God damn it.
That one, though.
You know the one.
Yeah.
Damn it, blanking on it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it worked okay. It's got the great Columbo moment and everything in that one. And I think that they were trying to do the same thing here and establish that, because, having Tuvok as the security officer is somewhat unexpected for a Vulcan, right? You expect the Vulcan to be the science officer. But we have this Vulcan security officer, but he's still got all those Vulcan traits. And it's like, yeah, but now that you think about it, having a Vulcan security officer is actually a really good idea because they're going to have less bias, presumably, if they don't bullshit a lot.
They're super strong.
They're
Way
super
more
strong,
neck pinches.
a lot of neck pinches.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
And they're great at fucking working out logic puzzles. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, every one of them is a Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the impulse for them to want to do this episode because it could really demonstrate, like, oh, look, yeah, Tuvok's actually really good at this detective shit. But they came up with a really stupid mystery
Yeah.
and a really stupid solution to the mystery.
Oh
So
yeah.
stupid.
And
That
it was
it's like-
stolen directly from a Holmes book too.
Oh, of course it.
The whole dog thing.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Adventure of Silver Blaze apparently also has a dog reveal.
Oh.
And there's a Poirot story called Mystery at Hunter's Lodge, which also has a dog, but I don't know. The dog isn't used in the same way. But there's also like the dog that helps.
Mm.
It's
There
but
was
it's
a-
also just they point to like, this is the evidence.
Yeah.
The dog not hating somebody is not evidence of a murder.
Yeah, my cats hate Chris. Is Chris a murderer?
No. If they liked Chris, it would mean that he was a murderer.
So here's the thing. One likes me, one hates me. What does that mean?
It means you're both a murderer and a not murderer, depending on which cat you ask.
I also just kind of feel like her dog wouldn't like the person that killed its other owner.
No, the dog didn't like the husband either.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yeah,
All I know is it
was a
was
piece of shit.
hideous.
Husband was the one that gave the dog that horrible haircut.
No, that's just called mange. That dog had fucking mange.
No,
was a
it was
pretty
a
hideous animal.
Chihuahua that they blow dried.
Dog had mange.
So did all the aliens on that planet. That explains their heads.
Oh my god, that's exactly what it was. They all had mange.
And fleas.
But it was like a straight up Scooby-Doo reveal too, right? Because they
Oh,
bring in the
yeah.
dog, and suddenly everyone's like, "Oh, you got us!" It's like,
God,
oh, gee.
when Tuvok asks Dr. So-and-so, who doesn't get a fucking name, stand up next to, what's her name, Lydell. Oh, you two are close to the same height. It's like, really? That's any of your evidence? Someone has a specific height? That's gotta be a large proportion of your whole populace.
I mean, admittedly, he also was the one that made the implant, so that helps.
Here's my question. Let's talk about the Doctor and Lydell's scheme and who was involved in which parts. How much of this was Tolan, the deceased, a part of any of this?
I don't think he was at all.
No,
Was he trying to get?
No, he was being cuckolded by the doctor. We don't have his name. And the doctor was also a spy for the Numeri.
Was Lydell, or was she just,
I think she
piece
was
of ass?
she was just a piece of ass.
Feathery ass.
She knew what was going on. She was in on it. Like, for her, it's like, oh, I get to get rid of this husband that I don't really care for. I'll get to have some fun with the doctor. I'll get to have some fun with Tom Paris for a little while. Great. So I don't know. I don't know if she was even involved.
Did she get the equations? Maybe.
I don't know.
Like, how did that's my question? Is how the doctor?
Files.
Yeah, how the doctor got these equations that seemed like they're military secrets.
Yeah.
To implant into Paris's head to pass off to the Numeri.
Maybe she did. Maybe it's not even a. Maybe it was a money thing. Maybe the doctor's paying Lydell to
bang
hook it
the
up.
Doctor. Oh,
I was gonna say to cuckold him.
Because actually, yeah, I mean, is it actually
That's his
established
kink.
that there was a cuckold situation? Like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was straight up just a spy thing. Maybe there was no sex.
Yeah, it's true. We don't know.
There was sex.
I mean, probably, but it could have just been like, "Hey, I'll give you.
You want to make some quick
I'll
bucks?
give you $1 million quatlus if you I'll off your husband for you. We'll blame it on this other dude. You got to get me some files, and I'll hook you up with the money. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Why am I being murdered? What am I gonna do with this money now? Oh, I did.
Oh no, why am I being murdered? Famous last words.
All right, if I'm ever murdered, I'm gonna make sure to say that shit.
Yes, good. I also felt super bad for Harry Kim in this episode.
Seriously.
For getting interrogated and tortured to the point that when he returns to the ship, he's incredibly unwell and dehydrated. And why would they do that to Harry Kim? He had nothing to do with it.
Because they're assholes. Like,
You'd think-
that's the thing. We cannot set aside the fact that they are culturally assholes. Like, they are weird, paranoid lunatics.
Neelix didn't tell us any of this.
Well, he said he avoided these people because they all seemed terrible, which makes sense.
I thought he just avoided the Numeri. I thought he liked these guys because he was like, yeah, these guys will help you fix your ship up.
Well, either way, I feel like he just avoided the area as best he could because it was a war zone.
Yeah, but I would think returning one of your officers to you in this beat-up fucking state would cause some kind of, like, political dispute.
Yes.
Well, and it would have if they were in their own quadrant.
Yeah.
Like, if Starfleet could get to them, they'd probably fuck them up.
Oh my god, they go full fucking, what was it? General Order 24 or whatever on those motherfuckers? Like, we don't know. We know, like, they apparently are really good with engines, but we don't know much else about them. For all we know, even a little scout like Voyager could fucking decimate their population from space.
So Janeway does something else, where she claims she's filled a shuttle pod with some kind of explosive device when she's baiting the Numeri into seeing, like, okay, do the Numeri just want Paris? Is that what they want? Yes, okay. And my question is, was she just Corbamiting there, or was that shuttle pod actually full of explosives?
Oh no, that was full on Corbamite.
Nice.
Yeah, it would. I think I don't know. It could have gone either way because if they could have scanned it for explosives and confirmed it. But it occurred to me though that if this were an episode of Lower Decks, she would have just said it was Corbamite.
Yep.
And
then the fans would jizz.
every fan would ejaculate immediately.
Simultaneously. It was as if 1 million souls were crying out at once.
Yeah, but it would be interesting if, like, Corbamite was, like, just a buzzword that Starfleet captains use when they need something to bluff with.
Ironically, it's called the Kirk maneuver now.
And of course, I mean, no one's heard it in the Delta Quadrant, so it's new there.
Oh yeah, our McKee tactic is also new in the Delta Quadrant. We got
Yeah.
to see Chakotay do some stunning feats.
But then again, it's not the most creative like pretend that we're more damaged than we are is not like some revolutionary military thing. It's
I think it was venting some stuff to make it look like they were actively on fire or something.
Yeah, they're
I think that
kinda...
was what he did.
Yeah, but people have been doing that for fucking centuries.
Well,
I was gonna say, it was literally a revolutionary tactic. We probably did it during the American Revolution or something.
because even Janeway was like, this isn't that new.
People? Really?
Yeah,
that's another thing Kirk did, though.
Yeah.
I think it was in the Ultimate Computer. Play dead and maybe they won't kill you.
Yeah. Quick, make it so
yeah.
that we're at kind of a wonky angle. There are no angles in space. Do it!
So there was a little bit of a B plot here with again Kes and the Doctor.
Yeah.
And Kes trying to help the Doctor come up with a name for himself. And I
You know,
couldn't help but
Go for it,
notice
sorry.
that at one point she's like, "Oh, what are names of doctors that you like?" And he lists off a bunch of names, and one of them he lists off was Dr. Galen. And
Picard's friend.
assuming it's the same Galen, maybe, I mean, I presume there could be other Galens. It's not a terribly uncommon name, I guess. But he's an archaeology professor.
Yeah.
It seems a little strange that would be one of the doctors that the Doctor would have knowledge
Maybe
about.
it's just a name he likes.
Maybe. Also, there's
You first thought he said Dr. Quace.
Well, I thought he said Dalen, which in my head I was like, oh, Dalen Quace, who
Bev's friend.
Bev's friend.
Yeah, from
Remember Me.
Yeah.
So that's who I thought he was talking about and I just crossed synapses in my brain, Dalen and Galen.
And then of course he
was
mentions
like, oh no, he said Galen, who is Picard's friend.
He also mentions
which
Dr.
makes
Spock.
much less sense. So I wonder if maybe they had the writers had the same confusion and were thinking of Dr. Quace, and that would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because he was an actual medical doctor.
And a good name.
I don't know. Yeah.
But also,
yeah.
presumably by Dr. Spock, he meant the child-rearing expert from the 20th century, not the
Clearly.
scientist.
He could have gotten his doctorate. You don't know.
Oh, he definitely has one, but it's like, again, presumably he'd be looking at physicians, not...
I don't know. He doesn't say I'm gonna think only of physicians. He says I'm gonna think of some doctors I like.
But why would he even know those doctors? Why would they
'Cause it's in
program
his
knowledge?
program.
But what program? Like, oh, you need to know this preeminent archaeology professor for some reason.
Maybe it's for like patter with patients.
Maybe.
Which he's bad at.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so
which-
you
like archaeology?
yeah.
That's what the kids are into these days.
Well,
Now,
I'm gonna...
here's the thing. Now the Doctor has. I don't know if he's done it yet. He must have, but he will eventually start dropping Bonesisms and saying I'm a doctor, not a bleh.
Oh, a
Yeah.
lot. Way more than Bones ever did.
So it's very clear
No, he
that
did do it once, didn't he?
he might have already done it, but he does it a lot. So it's clear from context then that at least one of the influences that he's been programmed with was Dr. McCoy. So I'm a little bit disappointed, or maybe he just doesn't like McCoy that didn't come up. Because, but you know what it would be
Who can replace McCoy?
if he called it if he named himself Dr. McCoy, then everyone would be coming on. This guy isn't the real McCoy.
I knew a real McCoy joke was coming. I just wasn't sure how you were going to deliver it.
Look,
so
on the
happy.
very off chance that anyone listening to this has actually not seen most of or a lot of Voyager, I'm going to spoil something right now because fuck it. He never picks a name.
Right.
Little me was super, like, cock-blocked by that. Pissed me off as a child that he never got around to it. So I'm just going to save you the headache. He's just the Doctor.
Yeah, you'd think they'd bring it back up again, but they let it drop more or less for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think it just becomes less important to him over time. He realizes that a name isn't what he needs. He just, he needs to find himself.
He needs a crew, which I think last episode I was kind of surprised that when Janeway asks, "Is there anything you need?" he doesn't say "fucking help."
Hmm.
He just wants control.
Couldn't say fucking Star Trek yet, Ames.
Hmm.
What were you saying, Chris?
He
Sorry.
just, wants control over his on-off switch, which is fair.
I feel like that's probably his first big ask.
Yeah, and he'd ask for some equipment, I think, via Kess.
Don't call Kess that. Oh, you know what we saw for the first time in fucking decades is some kind of a truth-telling device.
Oh, yeah, that's
Paris
right.
is telling the truth. Wow, we haven't seen this thing in fucking ever, because we usually just use a Betazoid.
Yeah.
But we killed ours.
Yeah, because TOS had the flawless lie detector that was never seen until right now.
There is a Betazoid on board. I'm just pointing that out. We haven't met him, but he is there.
Oh, is there? Okay. I know Statty was, and she died in Caretaker, so.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm sure a part of she lay there dying was like, well, this sucks, but at least Tom can't hit on me anymore. Bleh.
Mind you, the
I'm
Betazoid
dying.
that's on board is a bit of a nut, so you might not want him doing this.
Well, we have a device in the wall that's better than anything that most Betazoids can do.
Yeah.
Well,
As Caitlin pointed out, Tuvok didn't have to do, like, the litany or anything. Just hands on the face, and in we go.
Yeah,
nice.
He's just that good at it. But here's the other thing, right? So evidently, the Benians have a technology that lets them extract memories by doing some kind of synaptic voodoo. Couldn't they use the same technology to get a image of Tom's brain?
You'd think.
Or the wife, for that matter, to get the accurate, like, the memory of those events.
Yeah, but the both of them can talk to you. The dead guy can't.
Yeah, but if it seems like using the dead guy's memory as evidence, but not the perpetrator's
Flawless
memory,
evidence too.
Or other witnesses.
My first thought was they should mind meld the dog.
Well, yeah, it seems a little strange to me. Maybe you can only do that procedure if the person's dead. Maybe that's the reason.
Maybe.
But for that matter, they could have done a mind meld with Tom, because he did do a mind meld with Tom, but Tuvok could have also looked at Tom's memories of the event itself, and he would have been like, "Huh, looks like Tom was unconscious at this time, so interesting. Oh, let's ask the wife. Oh, huh." The wife remembers a totally different person doing the murder.
Here's the other thing, because I know we've seen back in the last episode of TOS, name's gone, that when Spock was saying, "Oh, I mind melded with the lady who's pretending to be Kirk, or Kirk who's pretending to be a lady," or some weird thing that was happening in that goddamn episode. Turnabout Intruder, that's the one. They were all like, "No, Spock's probably lying." Because, Vulcans, always with the lying. Like, why would they necessarily trust anything Tuvok would say?
Yeah. Also, this really must.
They didn't have to, because the dog told them all they needed to know.
God damn that dog.
And all dogs go to heaven, which means they mustn't be liars.
I imagine that when this was dealt with, it was dealt with in a very hush-hush way. Because now, like, their entire system is thrown into doubt by this, if it gets out.
Doubt if it gets out?
Like, wait a minute, you guys have always said this was flawless and couldn't be tampered with. Their society collapses the next week thanks to the riots.
Yeah.
Fucking Prime Directive.
So here's another thing. So the only people who have witnessed this memory were, the victim.
Paris and Tuvok.
Paris, Tuvok, and the person that testified at the trial.
The AI?
Right. Is that what they said it was? It was an AI?
Yeah, they would take the engrams from the dead guy and put them in an AI because the AI would be unbiased.
So, how do they know, going back to your point, how do they know that the perpetrator was the same height as the wife? They only have Tuvok's word to go on it. Can the AI say that?
I assume they removed the program and put just from the AI and just put it in Paris, so I don't know.
Because, at this point, they only have Tuvok's word that that they were the same height. For all we know, Tuvok just happened to notice that the doctor and the wife were the same height, and was like, "Huh, okay, cool."
Yeah, this isn't exactly the slam dunk he thinks it is.
Yeah, really, the biggest evidence is the writing that you can see in the middle of the memory that I assume the court never saw. I assume that that's only in the Paris brain version.
Yep.
And how does he prove that exists? Because no one else can see that, and Paris is busy dying every time this happens. So, yeah, really convoluted this episode. Some interesting, like, Black Mirror ideas, but, yeah, mostly confusing.
Dumb. I did appreciate the Poirot-esque accusing parlor scene later, though. It's like, quickly gather everyone in the living room.
You know, like you do when it's a noir.
Yeah. Except not really. Again, that's more of a Poirot thing than a noir thing.
Yeah. It's a little of both.
Tuvok with a little curled mustache.
He'd look good.
Would he?
Probably.
Fair enough.
He's a good guy.
He's a good-looking dude.
I mentioned in the previous episode we covered that there was some on-set sass, and there was some some on-set sass in this episode that they mentioned on the Memory Alpha, so I'm going to say it here. And that's that when they're filming the mind meld and they're doing the mind meld scene and it's all tense and stuff, and then Tim Russ starts singing "I'm Feeling Good."
Nice.
I don't know. I feel like everybody's very funny, and they're buddies together, and I think that also makes them a good crew.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
There's another quick anecdote in that Roxanne Dawson only had one line this whole episode, and it was some technobabble. But I can't even think of where in the episode it even was, because it was very one fucking line for B'Elanna to deliver.
Yeah. And
Roxanne says, "Oh, it's just one line. I don't have to come to rehearse that. I'll just do it on the day." And on the day, it's like some technobabble that just doesn't want to come out of her mouth because it's so just wordy nonsense. Whoops. And of course, it's also the day that there's some like reporters milling around doing reportery things.
Oh, Jesus.
And LeVar has to, arm around the back. "Now, Roxanne, I know it's really hard, and you'll be able to get it. Just have to, let the line come." And she's mortified, like, "I know I can do it. This is just literally one stupid line. I'm never going to not rehearse again."
And they all learned an important lesson that day.
I imagine this show must have more outtakes than any of its predecessors, just because the sheer amount of going, "The drive has been disconnected, but fuck. Let's take it again. Disestablishify the hoodly what's it."
What? What did you say, Ames?
I don't remember now.
That was the line.
Oh, yes, that was the line.
Recompile the GPU.
We learned that Tuvok has had a wife of 60-something years. So I kept thinking, oh yeah, when Paris is all like, "I'll be your friend," Tuvok's like, "I don't need friends. I got my wife." Fuck you people.
I got my wife and my books, and eventually my weird Kerplunk game.
Kerplunk?
Not really Kerplunk, but it involves little sticks. Should we shift on to this week's project, since we've run out of steam on this pile?
One good one this week, one clunker this week. So it'll be really fun to revisit season 1 at the end of the season. Both of these might come up. We'll see. What we're doing this week for our fun blog post activity, Blog Post Corner. Because we're just finishing up doing all kinds of movie-related activities, and our final movie-related activity is going to be watching all the teasers.
Ooh.
And seeing, do they do a good job? Are they actually shit? You guys will be surprised that there's that some do both.
Huh.
I feel like in my having seen trailers from throughout the years, trailers as an art form really weren't nailed until maybe the 90s. So I bet a lot of them are going to be bad.
Old trailers. I don't even think they needed trailers sometimes because it's just lists of the cast. Like, they don't tell you a fucking thing except, hey, there's a movie. You're probably going to see it because there's nothing else to do in life.
I remember seeing once a trailer for like a 40s film, and it was literally just a plot summary. Like, we talk now about sometimes a trailer will give away too much. This one literally out loud told you what happened. It's like...
Including the ending?
I think so.
Oh!
Like, it was like, whoa, whose idea was this?
All right, Chris is going to cut most of this because you all listening to us watch trailers is going to be boring as fuck. But all the trailers, you can find them online. You can find them in our blog post. Links here. Click now. Watch all the trailers yourselves and enjoy along with us after Chris cuts all this. What am I looking for? Star Trek, the motion picture.
There it is.
So, we're going to watch on Plex so that we don't have to deal with YouTube ads. All right, here's the motion picture, guys.
Fuck you.
No, it's the poster we like.
Oh my god, but the way they segued into it. Oh my god.
So that one.
That's something.
Do we want to talk now or wait till the end?
Let's talk now.
Great. So
Let's
we just
talk
watched
after each one.
the motion picture trailer, which is just a list of things that happen.
And again, like, if you haven't watched it, listeners, you first of all should. But it goes like, it's the return of Kirk and Spock and McCoy and Scotty, and joining them are Deckard and Ilea. And it's like, wow, fuck off Uhura, Sulu, and Chekhov, apparently.
I love how they introduced Scotty too with one frame.
Yeah, but Scotty, I mean, you know, he's kind of... And I mean, they don't even show Sulu or Uhura in the trailer. Chekhov is at least there for a femtosecond. Oh, yeah, that is a 70s-ass trailer.
Well, so the thing about it is, I can sort of see they're trying to set it up like, hey, if you've never seen Star Trek, and you feel like you can't see Star Trek, let's introduce you to some of the key players, so maybe you feel more comfortable coming to see a movie about Star Trek, of which you know nothing. I'm not saying they succeeded. I'm saying I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah, it's fair.
In finding that trailer, because there's another alternate trailer I can find online that literally is just introducing each cast member, saying, you know, William Shatner as Kirk.
Oh no.
Leonard Nimoy as Spock, and just go, and that's all it does. It says nothing about the show, the movie. It doesn't show anything. It's literally just, here's the cast. The end.
I do like that the whole ad makes it look like it's a much more action-packed film than it is.
Yeah, you'd think more of like the amazing visuals would be on display, but they're kind of not.
They may not have been done at the time. Who knows, you know?
Oh, that's true. They did wait until the last second to get those done, so.
Yeah, but... And again, they wanted it to look like Star Wars, which it isn't.
Woof. Yeah, so far, that one's my least favorite, but we've also only watched the one so far.
But so far, it's my most favorite, so there you go.
Hey, y'all, let's watch the Wrath of Khan together.
He wasn't really left for dead.
Yeah, no.
He was left for starting over in a new world.
Well, it turned out to be left for dead. They just didn't know.
True. Yeah.
But it wasn't, like, malicious. I know intent doesn't matter when you've hurt someone, but... It was never Kirk's intention to maroon him in a desert wasteland and have all his people die.
Yeah, only the first part.
Yeah. Well, no, because City Alpha 5 wasn't a desert. It was lush and tropical.
Oh, that's right, it was a nice place.
Space Australia.
They had pineapples and coconuts.
Yeah, and those horrible buggies that go in your ears.
Oh, those things. Yeah, so as a trailer, that one doesn't... Because also, I feel like Wrath of Khan as a story is fairly easy to sum up in that it's... Khan wants to do a wrath.
Yeah.
Or rather to do a vengeance, but that's not the title. Whilst something like the motion picture, like how the fuck do you describe the motion picture? You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's why they decided that they needed villains. Because, yeah.
I don't know, Voyage Home doesn't have villains, and we'll see that one in a minute, so. Yeah, I think good trailer though, because it sums up what the movie's going to be what it's going to look like and what it's going to be about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of these and watch these from the perspective of, do they make me want to go watch the movie? Like,
That's
do
a
they
good way to do it.
succeed as advertisements for the film?
Yeah.
And I think that one does. That looks interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they did a pretty good job, and I can look at it, both as like, what if I'd never seen the movie, and also having seen the movie, I know that they are not lying as much in this
Yeah,
as
there's
they
also
were in the previous one.
people who've seen the show are going to say like, "Ooh, I want to
Yeah.
see Khan again. That'll be interesting."
Yeah.
People who haven't seen the show are going to be like, "Ooh, who's this Khan guy? He sounds interesting."
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a good balance.
Who's this con man?
Thank Y'all ready for Search for Spock?
Y'all ready for this?
Oh boy, no,
Nah.
not at all.
Nah. Yes.
But since I have no choice, I guess I'll allow it.
That was stupid.
That was terrible.
This is also the shortest. This is the
It also-
shortest of the teasers.
It doesn't explain anything about why it's called The Search for Spock.
Well, they're assuming you saw two.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
you kinda
it
can't
has
see
nothing
this
to
movie
do
without
with
having seen
Spock,
two.
though. That whole trailer had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true.
They,
just
what they
saying
should have
it's
done
not-
is like opened it with some cuts from Sarek talking to Kirk about the Katra,
Yeah.
and then I would have gone straight up to the. I like that they showed the stealing the Enterprise, because that's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very
And then
Kirk.
I like that they showed the bird of prey, and that we know that there's Klingons involved. I'm glad they didn't show any Spock, because that would have been bad.
Oh yeah, then you go. Then
Stupid.
you know they find him.
And
But they also did give away the other big thing.
yeah, the biggest twist of the movie isn't that they found Spock, because you knew they were gonna find Spock, because it's the search for Spock. The fucking biggest, spoiler there, they show the fucking ship getting blown up.
That's ridiculous.
How do you do that in the trailer? You sons of bitches.
Seriously.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if I didn't know that movie, and we're going back, this is the 1980s, and I go watch this movie, I'm expecting, okay, we're going to go on an adventure, we're going to find Spock, he's somehow resurrected, yada,
Ooh,
yada,
there's gonna
yada.
be Klingons. That'll
And
be
then,
fun.
holy shit, they just blew up the ship. Fuck, that's crazy. But no, it's in the fucking trailer. Fuck it.
It's funny, I was just thinking this, like, I kind of want to, I don't know if we talked about this when we talked about Star Trek 3, but, like, I kind of wonder what the reactions were when Christopher Lloyd was cast as a Klingon, because, like, before then, his biggest thing had been one of the...
Taxi?
Had been, like, one of the guys in Cuckoo's Nest, and then Reverend Jim. And it's like, Reverend Jim's gonna be a Klingon? It's like, oh, he's
But
not
again,
just gonna be
they had barely established the new Klingons yet.
Well, that's the thing, is he then... I mean, basically, he establishes Klingons until Michael Dorn.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
But I kinda wonder at the time, it's like-
sucks. Gorkon
like-
we like. Gorkon and Azipur will be fun. Oh, but those are when TNG's already airing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're new Klingons.
But yeah, I know we definitely did talk about the fact that, like, his influence on modern Klingons is, it never entirely goes away, There is a lot of Christopher Lloyd in every Klingon after him.
Including the Discovery Klingons.
Maybe?
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Search for Spock trailer, though. It felt more like the TOS trailer, the TMP trailer, in terms of just how narrate heavy it kind of was.
Yeah, very heavy. If
but
it didn't give away the destruction of the Enterprise, I'd say it was pretty decent, but fuck, man.
Yeah.
Although
The
I
other thing,
think...
like, there's a total shift when you mentioned earlier that, like, trailers change at some point. I feel like there's a change that happens right around the early 2000s where they just stop doing narration in
Yeah. It dies
movie
out.
trailers. They just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you tell your story with video, not with
Right.
narration.
You show instead of telling. Exactly,
I
yeah.
like
Although,
that.
thinking on it, and we'll see as we go through this, I feel like every Enterprise destruction is maybe spoiled in trailers. We'll see.
Ooh, let's find
Yeah.
out. Moving forward, we're going to watch the Voyage Home trailer.
This feels like the whole movie.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. It's just a summary.
Except, have they shown the whales at all yet?
just a
little bit.
fin
They showed a whale.
or a fluke.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
Yeah, so what The Voyage Home as a film does excellently is balance comedy and sci-fi and drama. What
the trailer
does is make it look like a fucking sitcom.
Yeah. It also, like, gives away a lot.
It does. I gotta say, I would want to watch that movie if I saw that trailer.
Oh.
I think. Yeah. I think it maybe shows too much. I think it showed way too much of the trying to escape the aircraft carrier bit.
Yeah.
Like, it basically showed that whole scene just cut up.
Yeah.
But it looks like a fun movie. It looks like something I'd want to go see.
It does.
It looks silly as hell, though. Like, it doesn't look like it has, a good grasp on comedy. It looks like it has a good grasp on being fucking silly.
I think that's the only way you could sell that movie, though.
It's tough, yeah. It's a tough sell.
Because, like, if you say we're going to do a movie with Star Trek, but it's going to take place in present day, so much of that has to be the culture shock and the culture clash of these future people visiting present day. So I think they kind of have to show it that way. And I think that they could have gone. I mean, come to think of it, though, there weren't a lot of serious scenes in that movie. It's mostly comedy. It's mostly a comedy film.
Yeah.
Not enough whales, too.
Yeah,
they didn't even show the whales. Like, once again,
they showed like part of one whale, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
I guess that's kind of giving it away, though, if they show too much of the whales, right?
Yeah, but you learn in the first
answer
scene.
to the problem.
You learn very early we need whales.
Well, yeah, but by then you've already bought the ticket. They don't give a shit after that.
I mean, I think it's kind of, in a way, it's nice considering how much it did kind of give away that it didn't give away the fact that the key was whales.
It didn't give away the fact that in 3 they blow up the Enterprise.
Yeah, seriously.
So already points for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but we do know they have a new
like,
Enterprise. Spoiler. Sorry, Jake, what'd you say, hon?
No, I mean, at this point, we just know that they have a Klingon ship.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, really, they're the crew of the Bounty, not the Enterprise.
I hate the line Stardate 1980 whatever. It's not a Stardate.
Oh, God.
Yeah, who writes these things? All right.
What'd you say?
We're going where no man has gone before. The final frontier.
The greatest Enterprise's adventure or whatever.
I can't even fucking imagine how fucking awful this is gonna be. The final frontier. Oh, my God.
Okay, so I have to admit, the stupid jokes aside, if I didn't know what a Trashfire 5 was, I might think that was going to be okay.
Yeah,
it's a way better trailer than that film deserves.
That was a really good trailer for that movie.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about both this and probably a bit more 4, but I was a little more distracted at 4, is they also do a pretty good job of showing the whole crew doing things, and not just Kirk and Spock doing things. Like, they show that great Bones line, they show a great Uhura line, they show a great Chekhov line. It's like,
they show a Chekhov line. Let's not get carried away.
They show Chekhov having the best day of his fucking life.
Yeah,
he's like flying the ship. When does he ever get to do that?
I know. I'm just busting balls on Walter, who I love. I'm just kidding around.
What I really appreciate is that if you don't stop and think and go, no, Lawrence Luckinbill is far too old, they kind of try to make you think, wait, is this Spock's secret son? Because it's like the past he must confront, not, it's his brother.
Yeah, and then they show a baby.
It's like just
shadow.
Vague enough that you can be like, hold on a second.
Yeah, who is this guy going to be to Spock? Like, yeah, it's good that they also don't give it away,
which
like
is
other
surprising.
do.
So yeah, I will say, like, again, I know what the end result was, but if I didn't, I'd have been like, cool, all right.
Yeah,
trailers are great liars.
Yeah, honestly, so far that would probably be the one that I thought looked the best.
It's probably the most modern so far.
All right, we're gonna move on.
I mean, still with the narration, but
well, yeah, you don't get away from narration for quite a while.
Yeah,
like the narrator guy voice is just so well known for a reason because he's in every single movie that exists.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna watch Undiscovered Country now.
Well, once again, disgusting font choice.
Yeah,
we remember that font.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the trailer makes it into much more of an action movie than it actually is.
Might
I mean, there is a fair amount of action, but
it starts off with the right tone, very somber, very like that very weird time everyone was in where the Soviet Union had collapsed, and it was kind of like, all right, what now?
Yeah.
This has been the past 35, 40 years. What?
Yeah, but based
and
on
then
that trailer, I would want to see that movie.
Oh yeah, I think that was a really good one. I
That
had
was a good
chills throughout. Like, the whole, Kirk saying, "We surrender," like, ooh, chills.
Captain?
Yeah,
We
no,
surrender.
definitely a good one. I actually remember as a kid, even the TV spots, at least, showing off the, like, vast fucking ice wasteland. They liked that image a lot. Oh, wow. Those Rotten Tomato scores.
Yeah, 48 for Generations.
The Generations, yes.
Generations
not
ain't
6.
great, but 48, that's rough.
a little harsh.
I don't know.
It's not a great movie. So.
It's not.
That's probably, I wouldn't give it more than a 48.
But yeah, Undiscovered Country, great tone, great feeling of suspense throughout, I think.
Yeah.
Without giving literally basically anything away, except that there's this tension with Klingons.
But, that's just de rigueur. Generations, then?
Generations, then.
We're gonna get to ones that I'm probably gonna start kind of remembering.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ba-ba-ba-bum. I'm
Yeah,
actually
definitely.
very surprised there's not more Kirk in this trailer.
I mean, there's still way more in the trailer than there is in the movie, though.
I was going to say, yeah. It's
I'm
very
actually
much
sort of
implied
surprised. I'm surprised they didn't leave him to be a surprise to me.
Oh, no,
Oh
but
no,
that was
people
like...
knew.
that was the selling point of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Like, the fact that he's actually hardly in it was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, like, if you want to market this movie, the marketing of this movie is 2 captains. Where's
One
the second
cup.
captain? Oh, no!
Oh, well, sorry. That's what-
But yeah, I feel like more stuff with Kirk would make more sense.
I will say, they clearly also amped up the brightness on most of the clips for that trailer. Because remember how fucking dark that movie was? Like,
Not
literally,
No.
not tonally. Like, go back, watch that scene in 10 Forward. It is so, like, the lights are barely on. It seems like the idea in that scene was the only source of light was whatever was outside the windows. Like, there were so many scenes on the ship that were so dimly lit. And it's, like, obvious that for the trailer, they must have had to have cranked up the brightness just so high.
This also might be a tweaked trailer for YouTube.
Mm.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
I don't
but
know.
that, yeah. So my issue with this trailer is it doesn't tell us really anything about the movie at all.
It tells you Soren wants to go to a nexus.
A mad scientist.
He wants to
ribbon of
destroy a
energy,
star.
Past and present collide. Yeah, I don't know. Meh on the trailer.
It also tells us that... Huh?
It also gives us the destruction of the Enterprise again. Bullshit.
Yep. Gave it away.
Yeah, what a strange thing to do. To be like the twist that happens near the end of the movie in your trailer.
I mean, I guess I feel like unlike Search for Spock, this movie, the destruction of the Enterprise was, I don't know, less of
I feel like it was less a
spoiler?
twist and more a
Yeah.
thing that happens.
Yeah. So
I suppose
yeah, go ahead.
it's also possible that they know that, like, when audiences would go to the theater to watch it, they'd have the whole Nexus thing. They'll be like, oh, I bet they're going to undo that. And then they don't.
Mm.
So
well,
it's
also,
like,
once you've blown up the Enterprise once, who's really surprised when you do it again?
That's a good point. Yeah, once it's happened, it can happen all the time.
yep.
Where am I going? We're gonna watch the First Contact trailer.
Not 2 films in a row!
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really hope James Horner was earning royalties on all the fucking times they reused the Star Trek II music in these trailers, because I feel like
Star Trek 1 music?
no, Star Trek II. This trailer opened with the
Oh.
Star Trek II theme, the Wrath of Khan theme.
I see.
It's-
I know it ended with the TMP theme, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That did, but But yeah, they used, but that's like the TMP theme is like the Star Trek The Next
TNG
Generation theme.
Yeah.
But the James Horner music doesn't really fit there. I mean, it works in this trailer, but it's interesting because I noticed that they used it in two. Actually, I don't think they used it in 2. Maybe they did. I don't remember.
They didn't use it in 2, but they used it in 3 and 5.
And 4. It was in 4.
Yeah, you're right.
And here, so it's just like, man, they're getting a lot of mileage out of that music.
I mean, he did some excellent work.
It's a good soundtrack.
It would kind of be a slap not to use it sometimes. But yeah, what I also noticed in this trailer is the use of the narration much more minimal.
Yeah.
They much more let various lines of dialogue snipped together tell you what you were about to see, and very clearly told you, we are going back in time to fix this Borg problem. There you go.
What's interesting is there's nothing about who Cromwell is. Like, there's nothing about the fact that they're trying to interrupt the first warp flight in there. Because I know later, must have been the TV spots, specifically do show off the Phoenix opening her nacelles and such, so that would get used eventually, but in this trailer at least, it's just about going back and stopping the Borg in the past. We don't know why it's 2063. We don't know who Cromwell is or who Lily is. They don't say either of the character names.
Yeah, not like in TMP where they have to go person by person and say, this is your new officer. His name is Decker.
Yeah, but I kind of like that they're leaving that out right now. We're like, who the hell are they going to be? Like, unless you subscribe to Star Trek the magazine or were using early internet stuff, you'd have to wait until a commercial told you, hey, guess what, motherfucker? It's Zephram Cochrane.
If you were a big Star Trek nerd, you were definitely already on the internet.
True. But the more casual, my parents aren't like big Star Trek nuts, but they would go to the movies.
What does that have to do with the internet?
They weren't on the internet. Really.
Oh, I was like, and?
Like, there were a lot of people who would go to the movies that wouldn't necessarily be online.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, yes, of course.
Now this one, I feel like I remember being a big, big liar.
Insurrection?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
They were like, come see this good movie.
Yeah.
And you were like, I doubt it. Why does Riker not have facial hair in this movie? Whose fucking terrible idea was that?
Deanna.
Oh, is this the one where they get married? Is that why?
No,
it's the one where they get back together and she gives
they're
him
taking
a
a
shave
bath
in the
and shaving
tub.
him.
Oh, that's right. I hate that.
Okay, so it wasn't this one. There was definitely a trailer for this movie, though, that spliced in some of the footage from the battle scenes in First Contact to make it look like there was going to be a much larger fleet battle in the movie.
Huh.
Wow.
That wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in this trailer that's lying to you. I think it's basically what's on the tin.
Yeah, no, it is. It must have been a later one, or again, one of the TV trailers or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe I'm just tainted by how much I dislike the movie, but there was nothing in that trailer that made me like, yeah, this looks like it's gonna be good.
I feel like every time it felt like it was starting to, they dropped in one of the dumb lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, cut those out, and maybe it would have been like, yeah, this looks all right.
Definitely feeling aggressive tendencies, sir.
Lock and load. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Fuck you, Data.
And again, it is hard. I think this has been the hardest one to separate from the film itself because it is just such a detestable movie.
Yeah.
It is bad.
Next.
There's nothing, I don't think there's anything in the trailer that's like, you're just like, ugh, about though, really.
No, again, there's some of the lines.
There's jokes in every movie, so.
Yeah, but these are, oof.
But I also feel like...
Look at that Rotten Tomatoes. Oof.
Ouch.
37 for Nemesis.
The fact that we're mentioning court-martialing in the trailer, it's like, come on, guys.
What?
I don't know. It just feels very like, I don't know. So many episodes about court-martials. Do we have to?
Apparently.
Okay,
All right, Nemesis.
Hop in some Nemesis. What
Ooh,
is
look at
this
that bird.
eagle thing?
The Romulan.
It's a symbol of the Romulan
bird.
Empire.
Wow, I don't think I ever saw that thing anywhere else ever.
Oh yeah, no, it's always been there.
I liked that. I didn't like the trailer though.
No, it's a bad trailer.
Because that trailer is a big fucking liar. Because it strongly implies that lore is in that movie.
Oh, because you're left wondering who is B4 and...
Well,
Yeah,
it
who is
says
the second Data?
It said for every good there is an evil, and then it shows Data and B4, and then it says, and then it has Data's line, "I have to shut you down because you're dangerous." Anybody watching that would think that was lore.
Yeah, but
That's a
then
good
Lore
point.
said, "Why?"
Lore would
B4
say
said, "Why?"
Lore
Yeah.
would do that.
Like that though?
I feel
I
like
I don't
mean,
know.
any reasonable person watching that trailer, because you don't know that there are other Soong androids out there, really. Like that's
Yeah, no.
No,
that
I
movie
know.
It sets that up. So
I
I think that's a lie.
Yeah.
It didn't have. This is a weird transitional thing because it didn't have a narration, but it did have text-based
Mm-hmm.
narration that you had to read
Yeah.
that accomplished the same thing. I don't know.
I really hated the gimmick with the eyes.
Yeah,
that
that's
got
like,
so
that was
gimmicky to
stupid.
me. Really
And-
hated that.
and
And it's not
not-
like it's from the movie. They had to make that for the trailer.
Yeah.
They did a good face morph from
They did.
From Shinzon to Picard, which I thought kind of looked cool. But
Yeah, that was true.
so it really drives home. Like I get that. Oh, it's a clone of Picard. Like I got that. It teases the Enterprise destruction, which doesn't actually happen in the movie, so that's kind of okay, I guess.
Good fake out.
We'll make it look like it's gonna blow up, but it doesn't. So, all in all, middle of the road trailer, I guess. Just some weird shit in it.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, the newer trailers. I forget what I don't know if I've seen these, so I forget what they even do.
Yeah.
This preview has been approved for all audiences.
It's Trek
Including me.
2009.
So we know there's going to be action.
Yes.
Do we know anything else?
Not really.
No.
It doesn't tell
Bones
you
is great. We
anything.
can tell that.
I remember there's another one where like there's that line McCoy has on the transport shuttle where he's like, "Space is disease and darkness wrapped in death." And in the film, it's actually being played for laughs. It's Bones being paranoid. But in the trailer, they play it like dead serious.
That's true. Also, modern trailers have like 15 different variants. So this is
there's
literally whatever the first official one is kind of a thing.
Yeah, like with modern nowadays, it's the first teaser, trailer 1, sometimes trailer 2, then final trailer. But then sometimes it's just 3, and then there's so many different TV spots. It's insane.
Well, and don't forget that they'll often do the teaser for the trailer that they put out the day before the trailer to let you know that there's a trailer coming tomorrow.
Yeah, because now trailers coming out is now an event like a movie coming out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's gotten
very
really
strange.
bad.
Yeah, but this is literally the one that comes up on our Plex, so...
Yeah, like I said, it's probably the first official one.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I had to go through in the YouTube links that you're going to find on our blog post to see which one this actually is to make sure I'm showing you the one that we're talking about. And this one, I feel like the only thing we learn is that Kirk is going to learn to be a captain.
Yeah.
Not a thing about anything else in this movie.
But then again...
Well, but if you were a big fan, you would know that the timeline's changed somehow because he talks about... They show that his dad dies.
You know what else? This definitely isn't... the later trailers would almost all use the, "I like my shot. That's exciting" line.
Yeah.
And that was not in this one.
Yeah, I think that this, what this trailer was doing was just selling you on the idea that this is Star Trek.
Yeah,
And
here's a movie.
Yeah.
You will see it because it's Star Trek.
It had been a long time since there were any Star Trek related stuff. So
Yeah, there hadn't been a movie or a show for a while.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since Enterprise ended at this point.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised they didn't include as much goofy shit in this trailer, because there's lots of goofy shit to do.
Yeah. I think that was saved for later ones.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the first one also just wasn't as goofy as... Like, I feel like... I really don't remember 2 at all, because it was shit and I kind of buried it in my mind. But I feel like 3 has more goofy shit per capita than 1 did.
I'm left remembering in the first of the Kelvins, just Kirk running around with his engorged hand and that being...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at him go! It's so funny!
Yeah, I remember. I totally forgot about that, but yeah, that was one of the things that I just absolutely despised about that movie was the giant hand.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought that shit was hilarious.
Oh man, I fucking hated that.
All right, let's
remind ourselves what happened in Into Darkness, or at least what they wanted you to think before the movie came out. That's not
Oh yeah,
because
it was a big secret who was going to be in
There's
it.
so many different behind the scenes things on this.
Who is he playing? Who is Benedict Cumberbatch going to be?
Surely not a character that's supposed to be from India.
And played by a person of color.
No one would do that.
That'd be fucking stupid.
You'd have to be a gibbering asshole. God, could it be more melodramatic?
Probably.
I think
Fuck.
it's impossible not to compare Into Darkness to The Wrath of Khan, and I think it's going to be impossible not to compare the 2 trailers, because the great thing about the trailer for The Wrath of Khan is the character of Khan. And the thing that's most lacking in the trailer for Into Darkness is, what the fuck should we think about Khan? Because we don't even know that that's fucking Khan, because they won't reveal it unless you've seen the movie.
Because surely they can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh. God. I literally haven't seen this movie since I saw it in theaters. I have rewatched the opening sequence a couple of times because I enjoyed that. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any.
Yeah, a little bit like the 2009 trailer. I'm left mostly like confused about what this movie is going to be about, other than explosions.
Yeah. Like, 2009 would have piqued my interest. This, I don't know. I don't remember what my feeling was at the time, but now it's like, Jesus, fucking lighten up.
Literally, it's so fucking dark in this darkness.
Yeah, true. That was not what I was going for, but I wound up there.
We usually do. Yeah, and it's also impossible to set this movie more than any of the others. I think is impossible not to have a biased opinion on, knowing the movie itself.
Yeah, no, like this again. When we watch this for the podcast, it will be the first time I've watched it beginning to end since seeing it in theaters. And the only other one like that was Insurrection. Like, all the other movies I had seen multiple times over the years, even 5. But Insurrection and Into Darkness were both...
Yeah, 5 has charm in how ridiculous it gets.
And Lawrence Luckinbill does a way better job than that movie deserves. I will die on that hill. All right, let's get to Beyond.
One left, and then we'll pick our favorites and our least favorites. Okay, the "he likes that seat" button is good. A good use of comedy.
Yeah, because I was about to say, it was similarly, like, a little heavy-handed, which, I mean, I feel like the movie itself is a better balance of sort of dramatic and lighthearted moments and such.
Yeah, I feel like trailers go one of two ways. It either goes like, look at all the silly jokes that are going to be in the movie that you get to see now, or we're going to show you nothing but all the explosions, because that's what people want to see movies in the theater for, right?
Yeah.
Explosions.
I'm impressed they didn't technically give away the destruction of the ship. Like, what little they show, you could be like, it could maybe survive, because it gets the shit kicked out of it and Into Darkness and makes it through, you know? So you could totally think, yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, even in Nemesis, it looks like it is fucking exploding.
Yeah.
And it's alive enough that it will function-ish.
Yeah. It was interesting is what little they show of the Franklin in that. and like the angles, like it almost looks like an NX class instead of its own thing. And I kind of wonder if that was on purpose.
I don't know. Why would it be?
They've always
Why
paid
did I
a
ask?
little
I really don't care.
more attention to Enterprise than the rest of the franchise does, weirdly enough.
Well, that's because in the Kelvin timeline, they've erased everything that happened after it.
No, I know. It's
So,
fine. Like,
it's the only thing that
Enterprise
exists.
is canonical to both timelines, so it's interesting.
To you. Yeah, this is another trailer just that was explosions and absolutely no storyline to speak of.
Sweet jackets.
Sure.
I love the away team jackets they have. I like to this day. I want one.
If that's what
so
you're going to
bad.
see the movie for, then go ahead.
It's not what I'm going to see it for, but you know me. Like, actually, one thing I remember when the trailer first dropped, being really excited about was the uniform change.
That
because
tracks.
when they first announced Star Trek 09 back in the day, that what they wound up with in Beyond is closer to what I had kind of been hoping the uniforms would be.
All right, we have a whole nother uniform activity for sometime in the future, so let's not go too far down the uniform corner.
Oh,
I know
excited.
it's going to be us listening to Chris talk for a full hour.
Oh, it's great.
All right,
excited.
so we've watched all the trailers now, or watched one trailer for each movie now.
Yep.
All right, here's the list. Does anyone have favorites, shout-outs, least favorites yet, or do you want to think about them a little bit?
Into Darkness.
Fuck Into Darkness.
The worst.
The
Awful.
worst?
I might
So
have
melodramatic.
to rewatch a couple of these here. So
What's that?
We're going to have to rewatch a couple of these because it's been a while.
You want to rewatch a couple?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Jesus Christ, Jake.
It just has taken a long time, and I can't really remember which ones I liked.
I think Into Darkness. It's either Into Darkness or Nemesis for worst.
Yeah, I'm going to give my worst to Nemesis just because I really hate that eyeball shit. And
That's fair.
It's so I felt like just so gimmicky bullshit.
Mine is going to Into Darkness because it's so fucking melodramatic and heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you.
Favorite's harder.
Oh, I know
Jake,
my
what's your
favorite.
least favorite?
Yeah, I'm thinking my least favorite is, geez, that's hard. Like right now, like, didn't love the motion picture. I didn't
that
love
was
Search for
boring.
Spock.
we're
Generations,
definitely
I
gonna
thought
have-
was kind of crappy.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have dishonorable mentions in here. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
mean,
agree.
more of them were bad than good. I think, to be honest.
There were a number that were good. There were more good than I thought there would be.
A lot of the 80s ones were better than I was expecting.
For especially when you give it the caveat that these are older style trailers that I'm not used to anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna throw it behind Nemesis. I'm gonna go with Nemesis. Don't have any real particular reason to go with that one over any of the other ones, but yeah,
No, that's
it was
fair,
shitty.
though.
It was
Yeah,
shitty.
it's pretty shitty.
Yeah,
Caitlin,
pretty
did you
bad.
pick yours or no? Or was yours a
I'm
tie?
sort of. I think I'll probably just go with Into Darkness. That just makes it an even split.
There we go.
Fair enough.
But they're both terrible.
Yeah. Best is tough because there
is
were
harder.
a number that I did really like. But I think my best, I'm going to have to throw behind Undiscovered Country. Because I thought that was a really good one.
Yeah,
that
I
was
said,
5, right?
6.
6.
Oh, 6.
Like I said,
Right.
I had like chills throughout. Like I feel like the scenes that they chose to depict in the trailer were spot on. Close second, First Contact.
Yeah,
All
I
of
think-
them lose points for not having sabotage in them.
That's true. They even motion picture would have been much improved with sabotage.
The song,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
monster.
I'm
actually-
gonna go
someone-
with First Contact, I think.
Nice.
With probably Undiscovered Country in second place, and maybe with
Wrath of Khan is up there, too,
up
for
there
me,
as well. Yeah, and even the Voyage Home I thought was pretty decent.
I didn't care for the Voyage Home one. I thought it got real
Well-
camp real fast.
La-ti-da.
Mm-hmm. You know I hate fun. How about the Couch Kids?
Oh, that's a really good. This one is much harder.
I actually really liked the Final Frontier one.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Which
It's a
makes
way
me
better.
upset.
Just like Insurrection had a better poster than it deserved, Final Frontier had a better trailer than it deserved.
It did say the greatest enterprise of all is adventure.
Yeah, it definitely lost some points for that bullshit. God, that fucking tagline.
So bad.
Well, plus actually the opening of the trailer. The opening is stupid.
Oh, yeah,
they drop
yeah.
in the you don't understand the gravity of your situation, and then him falling like
Yeah.
comedy yucks.
Well, that's just
so.
that's part of the movie. You can't do anything about that.
Well, I know.
Yeah, but you didn't have to put it in the trailer.
And also, it's like, they didn't decide to do the fucking row your boat rounds and the fucking, you know what I mean? It's like you get to pick and choose what's in there, and they pick and chose that shit. So probably takes 5 out of the running. God. I think I'll say Wrath of Khan. That was a really good one.
That's a good choice.
Got it narrowed down to 2 or 4, I think.
Ooh, 4, really? Tell me about 4, Chris.
I don't know, I feel like it did give away a little more than it should have, but then again, maybe it wouldn't have been as obvious if I hadn't already seen it. And also, this is back in the day when you couldn't just sit on YouTube and rewatch the trailer 18 times and look for every little detail and kind of construct the movie.
Yeah, say, oh, look, this person has an extra pip in this movie. That's going to mean this.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily realize, like, oh, what's with all these hospital scrubs and stuff, and kind of be able to piece together a timeline. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Voyage Home.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we got to be very varied in our bests in that case. Cool. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, because I feel like also trailers are really fucking hard.
They are.
Especially because movies, like, people sitting in a theater watching the movie, like, the experience is what you're selling, not the movie.
I've seen some, like, it's amazing how bad some marketing companies drop the ball. One of the all-time worst trailers I have ever seen is the original trailer for The Princess Bride.
Yeah, you've mentioned that one before.
It treats it as though it is a straight-faced fantasy romance. Like, there's almost no sign of any humor in it. Like, it maybe ends with "have fun storming the castle." I don't remember.
Yeah,
but, like, aside from that... Yeah, but aside from that, like, there's really no sign of the fact that it's actually... a comedy and at least a partial deconstruction, and
yeah, that all these brilliant comedic actors are in it, and
yeah, like it's really just like, I remember watching it and going, wow, if I didn't already know that I loved this movie, I would go nowhere near it. It looks horrible. I mean, shit, I remember the early trailers for commercials for Bob's Burgers. I thought that show looked stupid.
Oh my god, yeah. Show looked awful at first blush.
It really did. So, I mean, marketing can really fuck up with these things sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Or, again, other times they do an amazing job of lying and make you think The Final Frontier might be a good film.
Yeah, if it's going to get butts in seats, it doesn't matter once you've paid for the ticket what you actually get.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's worse when they, you look back and it's like, wow, this good thing was made to look terrible. That's depressing. Well.
But I also feel bad for the people that got tricked into seeing The Final Frontier thinking it was going to be a fucking gay old time, because, boy,
seriously.
I mean, I love it, but it's not a good movie, It's like...
It is a pile.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
That's my distinction is always... Is it good or is it entertaining? And I would say it is entertaining. It is definitely not good. And I love it in spite of that.
Well, what I love is doing these activities with you guys, because I think this is a whole lot of fun.
It is.
Again, these are up on the Tumblr. You should go check it all out. Watch all the trailers if you haven't already, if you haven't been following along. And I hope you will go see all these movies based on these trailers that obviously so well market them.
Oh, God.
Except for Into Darkness. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, don't watch that one until we're watching it in a couple of years.
Ugh.
And even then, maybe skip it, you know?
Even then, it's going to be too soon.
Just listen to the episode and be like, oh yeah, I did hate that movie a lot.
What you should watch is our next week episodes of Voyager that we'll be covering.
Yes.
Next week, we are covering episodes Emanations and Prime Factors. I don't remember either of them, so we'll see what we do. We're going to continue doing more of these activities following the episode, so keep enjoying those. Let's see. Let's wrap this all up. You can find us on all the social medias. Do the thing. We apparently have a MySpace page now, which we have to remember to update. We certainly
Yes,
won't.
we do.
We'll
try.
There's just no functionality left in MySpace. It's real
That's
sad.
the thing. I don't know what the point of it is. I was really excited to do a lot with it, but you can't do anything with it. Really, as far as I can tell.
I kind of still miss Google Plus a little bit. Google Plus had such potential. But did not work out. But yeah, you can find us on the Facebook, the Twitter, the MySpace, evidently. Read about this on our Tumblr /SSHB podcast. Follow us on SoundCloud, where you can listen to all of these episodes. They come out once a week on Thursdays. Do the thing. What else do we do? You can find us on
that
other
like button.
Yeah, smash all the buttons. Rate us on iTunes or whatever it's called these days.
It's still iTunes.
Papple podcasts.
Papple?
Snapple podcasts.
Ooh, Snapple Apple.
Yeah, find us on all the places where you can listen to us multiple times. Maybe we'll have changed between episodes.
If you're in Belgium, hello,
and we will see you next week. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
and this is always Chris.
Start your trailer now.